Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Zen. In these videos, I show you how to make one tangle using the Zentangle method of drawing. So this video is actually number 1 in our Inktober 2023 series. So this is a challenge where we tangle every day for 31 days throughout the month of October. And the very first day, our challenge is to create Beelight, which was created by Zentangle Incorporated. So I'm using my micron pen. This one is a PN plastic nib. I have a graphite pencil for some drawing and shading, and a blending tool called a tortillon. I am doing my 31 days on these bijou tiles, which are 2-inch by 2-inch tiles. You can get them at zentangle.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook at Let's Tangle. Okay, so for this challenge, I'm going to be creating one tangle each day, and then I will be, at the end of the 15-minute video, I will be adding that tangle to a larger piece. And that larger piece will grow throughout the month, and all 31 tangles will be combined together in an 8 by 10 frameable piece. So I hope that you join me, not just for the 15 minutes, but then also for the piece at the end. Okay, let's get going. All right, so Beelight is a grid pattern created by Zentangle. And a grid pattern just means that we're going to create a grid and repeat this pattern over and over again within that grid. So I'm going to go ahead and start with pen, not pencil, and I'm going to make a square on my tile. And then I'm going to divide this up. So the easiest way for me to do this is to put a line across the center and down the center vertically. And then because I want more spaces, I'm going to divide it again. Divide each of these sections in half, and this way as well. Okay, so Beelight is a rather simple one, which is a wonderful way to start this challenge because we don't have to think too hard about this. So I like to start, I don't know why, but over on the right-hand side, and we start by putting in this little curve in the corner and coloring it in. And then after we're done coloring it in, we're going to add 2 or 3 lines that are going to curve right alongside that. So I'm going to go one here and one here. I only have room for 2 on that. If you've got room for more, go ahead. And then we just repeat this. So we put in that curve. And we add in those lines. This is such a beautiful tangle, and it is really so simple. So if you're new to Zentangle, I just want to mention that there are hundreds and hundreds of tangle patterns out there. And initially when Zentangle began, Rick and Maria, the founders, had a set of these patterns that they deconstructed to be simple for people like us that maybe didn't know how to draw them before. And they made them easier for us to draw with the idea that it was doable, one line at a time, and also that it could be relaxing. So what it has evolved into is creators all over the world are creating these beautiful patterns. Some are very simple, and some are much more complicated. That being said, the complicated ones are often very beautiful, but can be intimidating, can be tricky to accomplish, and sometimes distract us from what Zentangle really is, which is just being able to make repeated patterns without getting stressed. So throughout this challenge, there's going to be some grid patterns. There's going to be patterns that were created by Zentangle, but then also many, many that were created by people all over the world. Some will be very abstract, and some of them will be more representational of maybe a flower or a vine. So a good mix of tangles. As you're doing these, remember to loosen your grip. Relax your hand, relax your shoulders, and just enjoy this moment of drawing and coloring, hopefully without too many distractions. All of these tangles are meant to be a starting point or a suggestion, and even with Beelight, you can draw this in a grid that's curved. You could draw this where you alternate where you start each Beelight. You could draw these little corners all connected in like a circle. There are so many ways, and so these are really just meant to be a suggestion, and then you are meant to make it your own. Be as creative as you would like. So when I finish this, I'm going to add some designs and patterns into the areas that we drew. And then I'm going to do some shading. And the shading is so much fun. All of these step outs, which means these tangles and the directions to create them, can be found on, I think, probably the best would be on Facebook or Instagram through a place called 7 Forests, 5 Rivers, 7F5R. And they are the ones that create this list each year and provide all of the step outs. That's a great resource. Okay, look at how cool that looks. So simple and so beautiful. So just because I want to enhance it a little bit, I'm going to add some patterns. So I'm going to put some little dots along that first little row. I love patterns that we can go back and add to. And this is a fun one for doing that. You do not have to do this, but you can. In the next row, I'm going to add some stripes or some lines. Still relaxing. Just simple straight lines. Remembering to loosen my grip on my pen. Letting the ink do the work. If you have a good pen, you should not need to push down very hard. Now, instead of lines, you could add little circles in here or spirals or zigzags. Or you could just keep it empty. Look at how cute that looks. Now, if you've got more lines, you could always add another pattern, but I'm just going to leave mine like that for now. And I'm going to do a little bit of shading. So there are probably many ways that you can shade Beelight, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some graphite along that top and right edge. So the top and the right edge. And I can push that out a little bit. I like how that changes the look of it. Isn't that pretty? It almost rounds those a little bit. And that to each one, the top and that inside right edge. I'm going to go ahead and do all of them. I'm putting it on a little bit dark just because I want it to be darkest at those edges, and then when I push it out, it gets lighter and lighter. And we want this white space in the center. There can't be a shadow without the light. Look at that. Beelight. All right. As always, I initial my work. Let me see if I've got this going the right way. Put my initials down here. And on the back, I'll add the date. And that's our first video of the month. I'm so excited. Okay, so you may stop there, or if you would like to join me in this next part, I have, let me zoom out a little more. Okay, see my books and my mess here. All right, so I have an 8 by 10 piece of, I think it's a piece of watercolor or multimedia paper, just because I wanted it to be a little bit thicker than a regular piece of paper. And I added a border around it. And I'm just gonna start drawing Beelight just for a couple of minutes. And then tomorrow I will add the next one and the next one. And when I'm done, we should have this beautiful piece of tangles that all intertwine and connect. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back in a little bit, and for some reason I feel like starting in this upper right corner. Okay, and I'm going to start with my pencil to make my grid for Beelight. So I'm thinking, just to change it up a little bit, I'm going to have it be curved. So I'm going to start with a curve there. I'm going to add in a couple more curves for our grid. And then let's see, I think I'll do one more. I don't have a plan when I get to this part, just because I want this to be organic and just kind of grow as we go. Okay, now I'm going to make a grid, and I'm going to come from here and go out. It doesn't matter how many you do. I just thought it'd be kind of fun in a curve. Okay, I'm going to pick up my pen. I'm going to go ahead and trace this first curve. I'm going to trace the second curve. And then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do this outer one quite yet. Put these lines in. Okay, I have an idea, so I don't want to do those quite yet. So maybe I'll go the opposite direction this time, which means I'll put them on that upper left corner. And put in those little auras. So if many of you are familiar with Zentangling or the Zentangle method of drawing, it is often done on a 3.5 by 3.5 inch little paper tile. And typically you would put 2 or 3 or 4 tangles together to create a beautiful little piece of art that also creates calm and focus. And it's just meant to be organic, that you just put these tangles together and see what happens. So for this challenge, it's similar, that we're just going to randomly put these on here and see how it goes. But it's on a much larger scale because I think it's fun to add all 31 to the same piece. If you look up my older videos, I did a series last year in 2022. And if you go to the very last video, you can see how our larger piece turned out. And it's pretty cool. This is a good challenge for me as well, because I do so many of those little bijou ones that it's good for me to get out of my comfort zone and try to put these together. This will be a journey for us all. All right, as I'm filling these in, I'm thinking about what I can do in that next row to make it a little bit different. I think I have an idea. These get a little bit wider because the sections are changing. Okay, so I thought it would be fun because I have to have other tangles eventually attached to this. I thought it would be fun to maybe extend these out in sections. Does that make sense? So I'm not going to do these ones right now because I'm going to let other tangles grow around it. So it's still a grid, I'm just sort of changing where I'm going. And then I thought it'd be fun in one of these to maybe add a little bump inside it. And leave that part open. Little bump inside it. And I'm only doing this because I want you to go out of your comfort zone a little bit. Imagine what else you could do with each of these tangles. And then I'm going to go really close this time. And look at how different that looks. It is still Beelight. We're just changing it up a little bit. Oh, it's so cool. All right, I want to do one over here. I could have left that little circle, I just forgot about it. Isn't that cool? And let's see, should I do another one over here? I don't know. But I've got this section up here. I'm trying to decide if I should leave that for another tangle or if I should do something with it. I think I'm going to leave it for right now. I'm going to grab my pencil and do a little bit of shading. And I'm going to do like I did before, that on the side and the top where my dark area is, I'm just going to extend those out a little bit. So now I'm doing that left side and the top. Left side and the top. It's important to make sure your pencil doesn't leave any little white spaces. You don't want a little white line against that line. All right, let's blend these and see how it turns out. Oh, it looks so pretty. Look at how cool that looks. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, if you want to go back and add any more patterns inside these, you can. I think I'm going to do the striping or the lines, not on the first one, but the second one. Again, you don't have to do this part, but it's kind of fun. You also could just leave it alone and come back to it another day and add something. This whole piece here is going to be like our little playground. We're just going to have fun, do what we feel like doing. Look how cool that looks. All right, I think I'm going to leave it for today, and we'll see what we end up putting in there later. I'm not sure, and we'll let some things grow around this one. So I really hope that you enjoyed that. Where did I put my tangle? Here it is. All right. Beelight by Zentangle.com or Zentangle Incorporated. And this was day 1. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, follow, and hopefully we'll see you another 30 times. I'm so excited for this adventure. Thank you. Bye-bye.